Looking back at the preliminary task, what do you feel you have learned in the progression from it to the full production? When thinking about the way I have improved from since September, when the preliminary task was set, I have improved in many ways, starting with Final Cut Pro, where in the preliminary task I barely touched the editing and wanted to get shots on and connect them to create a story. But I have improved my skills on Final Cut Pro, looking at how to adjust the sound so the monologue wasn't drowned out by the music, as well as learning more about how to control the sound. We focused on keeping the shots similar length because it was being dance. We want to keep the audience attention. Looking back at what I know from about Final Cut Pro in the preliminary task, I know now from the finishing my main task, it is obvious that I've improved using Final Cut Pro. Throughout both the preliminary task and full production, we had to keep updating our blogs on WordPress to show that we have done what we have done and where we're going next, sharing thoughts and ideas. In my preliminary task, I was blogging very little about editing and organising when we were going to film, who was doing what, and location for the film was going to be. This is uninformative, and we thought we weren't very organised with filming. I have improved with my blog/WordPress account by putting everything that happens and is discussed on as soon as it has happened. Not only this, by using different media such as filming ourselves discussing things, putting images up for evidence and to show what was happening, as well as looking at documents and websites which will help us show our ideas or tell you what we're going to do to improve. In the preliminary task, I only linked YouTube videos to analyse, not using much other media than I typed blogs. This shows my improvement in my blog, where I introduced in putting forward what was going on and putting forward our ideas. Looking back at the preliminary task, I improved with producing a high quality piece. This is where I started thinking more in depth about the way we film and the settings. In my preliminary task, it was obvious that it would be a school, looking at the hallway scene, but unlike this, we started to think about location more. We originally wanted to have the setting of our main task to be an actual dance studio, but we were unable to get the times right with the studio which we had been in contact with. We had to overcome this problem by not using the studio and began searching for new areas to film, and came across a location which was perfect area to film. In our preliminary task, we used our media room and hallway outside, not caring much about location. With our main cut task, we also thought more about the sound. In our preliminary task, we just filmed using the camera and mic, which wasn't very high in quality, without any non-diegetic sound. We improved the sound of our final production by having a non-diegetic sound that matches with the genre of the product. The genre of preliminary task is unknown by just looking at it, unlike the full production, which we can tell is a sports directly based. While looking back at the preliminary task, we didn't organise a costume to wear which matched our genre, which was supposed to be a romantic comedy. This is obvious as the actors are wearing school uniform. In our full production, we improved by organising different outfits, showing the stereotypical look for each girl and her dance, which helped set the scene for each piece. The preliminary task does have a lot of different shots, which we had decided to experiment on doing, but they're all still shots. We improved our full production, having camera movement, having tracking shots, using the dolly to follow our dancers while spinning. We used more experimental equipment like our light umbrellas, tripods, and dolly mics and spotlights, which means we expanded with our use of equipment to improve the quality and skills of the full production. I have learnt how to work with people, especially through scheduling with people. In our preliminary task, it was simple with scheduling, as all the actors were the team, which meant we had to film. We could all film and work during our lessons. Whereas in our full production, we had professional dancers who had to work and other things to do as well as our filming. So we had to decide on certain days to film and who would be best for which days. This helped us with our organisation, as we had the opportunity to schedule the days we are going to film certain shots or refilm. So we decided to do a WhatsApp group to chat on to make it easier to get hold of each other's dancers to reshoot. When looking back at the start of the project and how we started knowing almost completely nothing about producing, directing, or altogether creating a product which was based around our ideas. I believe I've improved all my skills for creating this product, learning how to use numerous technologies and websites where they have helped us put together the product in the way we wanted it without much struggle. I've learnt to work as a team and be thankful for the people which have helped make with my last steps. I really appreciate the help and patience from our dancers, as they took a lot of time to help us film, and as well as the people who helped expand our ideas and give us tips on how we might be able to improve. Thank you.